You're listening to Welcome to Eloma, a podcast for highly ambitious dreamers who get shit done. I'm your host, Kailei Peters. This is a space where we talk about developing leadership within yourself and your team. So this is a tough one, and it requires, in my opinion, it requires a heightened level of self-awareness to do the work internally when it comes to finding the appropriate leadership resources for yourself. And then when it comes to finding them for your team, it's also just really important to make sure you find the right fit and meet your team where they're at, in addition to finding the right ways that you're going to learn best. So it's very much a nuanced situation. And so I'm very excited for today's conversation. Our guest today is Kailei Carr. And fun fact, back in another lifetime, Kailei was actually my boss. So it's been very fun watching her flourish as an award-winning speaker, executive coach, and founder of the Asbury Group, where they provide executive coaching and leadership development programs to corporations and entrepreneurs. I can't think of another better person to talk about leadership with. So welcome to Eloma, Kailei.
Thank you for having me, Kailei. And it has been so great to see you flourish as well.
Well, thank you. It's been fun. It's been such a journey. And yeah, we go back so far. So it's wild to think about where we are now, versus where we were, like a decade or so ago? It's been a minute.
I know. It's so wild.
It's been a minute. But Kailei, I have to say, you have been one of the greatest role models when it comes to leadership for me and my life. So I'm not surprised that this is where you are right now. And I'm so thrilled to be having this conversation about leadership with you. So let's dive in.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it's such a big topic, right? So where should we really begin? What are some of the key signals that a leader of any organization really needs to be tuned into when it's like, well, maybe it's time to level up and I need a little additional support here?
Yeah, I think that when it comes to any leader having that signal of, oh, okay, maybe I need to do something more here, it really comes from within. It really comes from within. It typically is that inkling or that nudge inside of them that says, I could be doing more here, or here's a growth edge for me. Now, granted, that may be sparked by interactions with other people, where maybe they handle a situation that causes them to second guess, like, oh, maybe I could have handled that differently. But there's usually something inside of them that says, even in those situations where it's like, oh, okay, yeah, there's something more here.
Yeah, for sure. And when they have that spark, what would you recommend is like the next step for them to do something about it?
Yeah, I think first of all is that self-exploration of, okay, if it's a situation, for instance, where somebody is, maybe they didn't show up as their best in a situation, where maybe we're stressed, we're overwhelmed, and then that default version of ourselves or the stress version of ourselves rears its ugly head. Yep. And the next thing you know, we snap at one of our team members or employees, and, we're kicking ourselves for that. It's, the first thing is, okay, taking that step back, that beat to, okay, why did that happen?
Yeah.
What
caused that?
What caused that in the first place? And that, even having that, taking that beating and looking inward for a moment can provide an opening for what's next. Oftentimes, I am a huge proponent of coaching, not only because that's what we do in my practice, that's part of what we do, But I've seen it even in programs that I've led where I haven't been the coach, but we have included coaching for the participants. It is incredible how beneficial it is to have someone who is on your team,
Yeah.
who is devoted to your well-being and your advancement and has some outside perspective to call us out on our stuff.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So you talk about coaching, and a lot of people can take that in a lot of different ways. Sometimes coaching is like, yes, it's life changing. And then sometimes people give it a bad rap for, calling coaching when it's not really coaching. So how do we know what the right format or the method to tackle, this leadership development, whether it's coaching or some kind of further development? Like how do we know the right step to take?
Yeah, there's so many different types of coaches out there. And you're right. There are so many people that call themselves
Yeah.
coaches who,
Like,
are not. And honestly, for years, I was very reluctant in calling myself a coach because
yeah,
I truly respect the industry, the field very much. And I was like, hey, there are people who get certifications, who go to school for this, and I didn't do that. And next thing I knew, I had people calling me and asking me questions about or really asking me to coach them. And no one asked me if I was certified to do so. Now, luckily I am I'm someone who is a forever student. So I
yeah,
do my research and I hone my craft. And I know that the reason why I'm such a great coach is that I can zero in on the other person and I let my strengths lead me. Now, there are many methods. You were asking about methods. I am not I can't say, yes, look for someone who does this method or doesn't do this method. I really think it comes down to the individual and if there's
yeah.
chemistry there. And also do your homework, right? Do your
Yes.
homework. Make
Yes.
sure that the person that you are working with is someone who has a strong track record. Talk to people who have worked with them to get some insight on what their approach is and how it has impacted them.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that I like to, associate with coaching is it's kind of like dating a little bit. Like you have to kind of figure out who's going to be the right fit for you. Like not everybody is going to be the right fit, and that's okay. But you got to find somebody who you feel really comfortable with and is going to push you to be the best you can be, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And some people prefer to have coaches who are very structured and they have methodologies and we're
Yeah.
going to follow this thing. And I've had people come to us to say, okay, what are all of the steps like, or can you show me the
Yep.
blueprint and the framework? And that's not how we work. We have more of a human centric approach. So,
Yep.
and we're all, very heart and soul centered. So it's like, okay, we focus on the person first and design the coaching experience with that in mind. But I also understand that that doesn't work for everybody. So
Yeah.
understanding what works best for you is crucial when looking for a great coach.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've also, in my experience, it's been a matter of like, um, you have to know yourself well enough to know how you like to be pushed or what is effective for you. Like people will
Mm.
talk about like, basketball coaches or whatever. It's like, oh, don't yell at me. That's not gonna help, like provide this kind of constructive feedback. And I think it's similar with anybody in a coaching or leadership positions. Like you have to understand how to communicate effectively with anybody. And so I think it's one path to find coaching and leadership development programs for yourself. But for those of us looking to implement the same type of leadership development opportunities for our teams, how would you recommend somebody go about that when you're trying to figure out the right way to help your team?
Yeah, I would again go inward. Like, okay, what does our team need? where are we finding the most challenge? Where are the rubs,
Mm,
that are present within our team? And where are the biggest areas that we can strengthen, right?
mhm.
So, I mean, I really like the idea of finding ways for teams to be the most effective. So I do think that for organizations and for leaders who are looking at finding ways to bring some development to their teams, it's like there's the team dynamics and then there's the individual,
Yeah.
right? So there's certain development that I think each individual can benefit from that will have impact on the whole. Now, collectively, if each person is going through their own path and they're strengthening as a leader individually, well, now collectively, how can we put those puzzle pieces together in order for us to be as effective and efficient as possible? And there's certainly, group coaching and development programs that can help organizations and teams function more properly too.
I want to dig into that for just a second because you bring up a really good point. There's a group and there's the individual. And to your point, like there's group coaching programs and obviously there's one-on-ones. Um, how would you say, like, if anybody's out there listening and considering implementing one-on-one and or group coaching in their organization, what would you tell them in terms of like expectations? Like, how are they different? What can they expect from like the group versus the one-on-one?
When it comes to one-on-one coaching versus group experiences, with the one-on-one, it really is tailored. That experience is tailored to that individual's needs. So what typically happens is that coach will do some type of assessment, some type of analysis in the beginning to understand what their starting point is, what their needs are, what their developmental areas are, and tailor that program to them. In a group, it's usually what I love about the group experiences is that at least when I facilitate, I can't talk about every experience and every coach, but what I love about it is that the group, there is always some great insight that comes out of people's experiences. So, for instance, if I am facilitating a group experience and we're talking about communicating or leading through conflict, there are
Okay.
certain things that I can bring to the table, certain case studies and best practices and insights that can help them. But where the richness and depth comes in is when people can share, oh, I was in a situation where I had this happen and there was this conflict and this is how I resolved it. And
Yeah.
now you're getting perspectives from the entire group, and that's something that one facilitator can't provide.
Yeah. No, I agree. In the group situations that I've been in, the group workshops, it's always like, in the ones I've attended as well as the ones that I've facilitated, it's like you're going to learn just as much from me as you are from everyone else in the room. And that's part of the benefit. It's really a joy. Okay, so we're talking about leadership development for individuals. We're talking about it for the team. Now, if we take this into the entrepreneurial world, well, that was like a whole jumble. If we take this into the entrepreneurial world, with entrepreneurs, what should they be thinking about in terms of leveling up their leadership abilities? Anything specific?
Yeah. In fact, I just led a session with a group of founders a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about, I think it was even entitled Level Up Your Leadership.
That's a
And
good
so
name. That's a good name.
great, and so it's top of mind for me.
Yeah.
And there were three areas that I talked about. One is understanding what your personal power is. And
Mm,
we all have something that we possess. And as founders, as founders, there is something that was within us that we decided to birth, that we decided to
Yeah.
bring into this world, right? And
Yep.
there is a combination that when I talk about personal power, it's really this combination of your strengths. So your gifts, your talents, your skills, those strengths that you were born with, but those that you developed over time as well.
Yeah.
Your passions, those things that bring you, that energize you, that you get lost in, right? There are also your experiences that have shaped who you are,
Yeah.
your natural inclinations and abilities, and all of these things combined create your personal power and allow you to make an impact in a way that nobody else can. It allows you to serve others in a way that no one else in this world can. So, one is understanding what is that for you, really taking the time to understand what is your personal power. Secondly, is understanding what is your why and making
Yep.
sure that as you lead, especially as you bring in others, and oh, by the way, like it's really hard as you continue to scale your teams. You are the founder, right? You are the founder, you are the visionary. To expect other people to have the same amount of passion and fervor for that vision is just unrealistic.
Yeah.
But what you can do is help them see the why behind things. So help and I love Simon Sinek's work and his book, his TED Talk. If you haven't seen at least seen the TED Talk, watch that. But he talks about how people don't, it's not about the what and the how. People don't buy that. And think about that with teams too.
Yeah.
People are motivated by the why behind it.
Yep.
So if they know the impact that can be made by their work and how their work applies and impacts the whole and the collective, then they are more motivated. And then the third thing that I would say is manage your energy. Manage your energy because it is hard out here being an entrepreneur and doing all the things is one, just not a good idea. And yes, in the beginning, you might have to do a lot of the things,
Yep.
but managing your energy is so important, especially when you have teams, because you set the tone. You set the tone. So if you are not taking care of yourself, if you don't have the right practices in place to manage your energy, then it's just not sustainable. I mean, I've seen so much burnout, overwhelm, anxiety, depression, especially over the past 3.5 years.
Yep.
And a lot of people said, it was the time of COVID and all of that. Well, we're in a different phase of COVID.
Yep.
And yet a lot of the topics and the well-being and energy and resilience management topics that people have asked me to that people used to ask me to talk about in 2020 and 2021 are being asked again now in 2023.
Oh, absolutely. I think this topic of burnout specifically and like just general well-being, I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. And it's not a new topic. Okay, we know burnout's been around, but COVID changed the game. And then now it's like, okay, that flipped all of our worlds upside down. And then we had to figure out how to adjust. And then there was another pivot and then another pivot. And then we continued to tweak and adjust. And now we're in, like you said, a new phase of COVID where in a lot of ways, things have quote unquote gone back to normal in many ways. But that doesn't mean that people's mindsets have just bounced back, right? Like there's still a lot of emotional and mental exhaustion from playing this ping pong game of the last couple of years. Like it's wild. I keep seeing new burnout programs popping up left and right. And it's like, yeah, we still need them.
Yes. Yeah. And a part of it is our culture, right? This grind, especially with entrepreneurs, the grind culture, the 4 a.m. club, 5 a.m. club, like all of these things that are contributing to us, just grinding ourselves down into the ground, that is just not sustainable. It is absolutely not. And, I hand it to Gen Z because they're saying, no,
I
I'm
know.
not doing it. I'm just not doing it. So we need to get it together.
Yeah, I agree. It's a learned behavior, and it, just like any behavior, it's become an addiction in some ways, and it's difficult to unlearn. But yeah, I think as a society, we have a lot of work to do. Um, so in that vein, in terms of entrepreneurs and leading ourselves through difficult times, B, burnout, C, the list goes on and on. What if you had like one piece of advice to an entrepreneur right now in terms of how to show up as their best leader? What would you say?
What I would say is, first, define who that is for you.
Ooh, good
Yeah.
one.
Who is that? And that is not, I encourage people to not think about, okay, who do I like? Because in this Insta culture that we're in, there are so many people that we try to be like, especially as entrepreneurs. It's like, oh, I want to be like such and such or such and such. And I want to have the money or the business is as big as whomever, right?
Yeah.
And that is a trap. That is a trap.
It is.
Because you have been placed to do this particular work, to lead this particular business at this point in time in the world, period. It's you, no one else but you.
Yeah.
So why is it you? Why is it you? And who are you at your absolute best? Stripping away any of the drama, the trauma, the experiences that may have knocked you down.
Yep.
Who are you at your absolute best? And one question you can ask others around you to help get to this is, how would you describe me? So one exercise I give a lot of my clients is to have people to describe them. You ask at least 10 people to describe you using 3 words.
Yep.
3 adjectives. And, it's a good personal branding exercise to gauge how people perceive your personal brand. And a lot of my clients will say, well, they were being very nice. Like the people who responded, they gave me very nice things. Well, this is not developmental. You didn't ask them for developmental needs, right? Like where do I need to improve?
Yeah.
So what you'll get back is likely how people are perceiving you when you are at your best. Another thing to think about is, what do people thank you for the most?
Ooh, I like
what
that.
do people thank you for the most? So, and also, what do people come to you for the most? So what do people, when they ask you those questions, like what are those questions what trends do you see and themes of the questions that people continuously ask you? Maybe not the same person, but different people who are asking you the same question or advice on something specific. And then who comes back to you and says, thank you for that? What is that they thank you for? And that can help you see, okay, this is where I make some tremendous impact. This is the perceived value people have for me. And this perhaps is me at my best. And then tap into yourself too. When do you feel most energized? When do you feel most energized in your leadership? When do you feel like you are in flow, you are in the zone, and that other people are responding in the way that you want them to?
Yeah. Ooh, I love that. I love that. Okay. So let's expand that. So those are great prompts as us as leaders. Now, as we are looking to support our team in helping them grow as leaders, any words of advice for leaders trying to help develop other leaders?
Yes, I love this question. It's really helping them do the same thing. So my philosophy on leaders is that the best leaders are the best human beings first. And leaders don't lead organizations, or leaders don't lead buildings and products and services. they lead people and they serve people. And so the more that we can be the best people we can be, we will inherently be better leaders. So as we're looking to develop our teams, leading by example, doing your own work can show and demonstrate to your team the work that they can be doing, and then extending those same development opportunities to them so that they can explore who are they, what impact are they able to make, and take the selfishness out of it, to shuffle people around if needed. If you find that somebody is highly creative, but they're in a highly analytical position, but you really truly want them on your team, what else can they be doing where they can serve the organization and themselves better? Because I promise you, they will be more engaged and be more loyal and be more fulfilled and make an even greater impact if they are working in alignment with their gifting.
Yeah, I think that's a great call out too. I mean, yes, and to everything you just said, but I think it's the call out of like remove your selfishness. Like, A, being a leader is not easy. And B, the idea of potentially losing somebody or like making more work for yourself because somebody's role shifts. Like ultimately, to your point, you're only helping them in the long run and it will come back tenfold. And I think sometimes people get worried about leveling up other people versus themselves. And it's like, if you just continue to pour into other people, everybody wins. Everyone
Yes.
wins.
And you know what? Some people may go through that and realize that where they are is not the right place.
Yep.
And that's okay too. And that may
Yep.
sting a little bit,
Oh yeah, that
to have
stings.
to replace somebody.
Oh yeah.
Like, I get it. I've been there.
Yeah.
And everybody still wins, because now you open up the opportunity for somebody to come in who is in alignment with, where their skills are in alignment with the position.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Kailei, you are a busy lady. You've got a lot of fun stuff going on. Tell me a little bit about what you're working on right now.
Oh, what am I working on right now? I feel like I'm working on a lot, Kailei.
I know. That's why I got to ask.
Yeah. And it's so great to, to get the Kaileis together, I tell you.
Kailei Squared. This is officially the first Kailei Squared conversation that's ever been on Welcome to Eloma. There we go.
Oh, I am honored to be the first Kailei on Kailei's show. So some of what I've been working on and I am working on are working with some amazing organizations to serve them and to develop their leaders globally. One thing that COVID did for the business is that because we were all at home and working remotely, it opened up the borders and allowed us to do work with, I think we've now done work with leaders and organizations on 6 continents. So Antarctica, I'm coming for you.
Get it, girl. Yeah.
Yes. So we are continuing to do some great work with organizations, also creating opportunities for my team to shine. So those exercises that I mentioned to you, like, we are so fortunate to have a group of practitioners who are all working in alignment with their personal power.
Yeah.
So being able to give them opportunities and expand the business so that they can do the work that they love is fantastic. Also building experiences for others to truly tap into their potential. We have the Beyonding community, which is for purpose-driven, high-achieving women who are looking to go beyond in their life and in their leadership. We also have the Beyonding retreat that we are restarting into being an annual retreat, and we're working on our 2023 retreat that's happening later this year in the fall.
Oh, awesome.
And then finally, I have some media projects that have not receive the love, nurturing, and attention as I know they need. So I'm
Sure.
working on a book. I'm working on
Yes.
some TV projects that
TV
that I'm
projects.
really, yes,
Ooh, I
that
got a lot of questions.
really, and
I got
really.
questions.
And really, I'm feeling called to expand my reach.
Yeah.
And, I've been, doing it from my space and in the business. And I am called to really expanding how I connect with others and can impact others more broadly.
Okay. So I recognize you might not be able to give me details here, but TV projects, Kylie.
Yeah.
What
Well,
can we
I
share
can't,
about that?
what I will say is that I yeah, it's really so I can't divulge any details because it
All
is
right,
really
that's
early
fine.
stages. It's really early stages. But what I will say is that I've known for a very long time that was supposed to be a platform for me to leverage. It's not like I said, ooh, I want to be on TV and do that.
But
But I
you would be
always
great
felt
on
this.
TV.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so you know
Thank
how people
you.
say like, "Oh, I have a face for radio." You have a face for radio and a face for TV. Like,
Well, thank you.
there you go. You got all kinds of media platforms available at your ready.
Yeah, so I'm not sure how it's going to shape and what the final product or program will look like. And I say TV, but in this age
Streaming
we're in where it could be
something.
streaming,
Yeah, yeah.
it's some type of media. So I'll say,
Video
media,
format of some kind.
video format media, whether it's, traditional linear or streaming, but in service of helping others see themselves and taking the great work that we've been doing now globally and bringing it to people's devices.
Yeah. I mean, and just to clarify my last comment, Kylie, I love your voice. Like I could listen to you. Like if you decided to record an audiobook on literally anything, I would happily listen to it. Like anything. You could be like reading a recipe. It wouldn't matter to me. But
Thank
yeah, it's
you.
just I think you have such a calming presence. Like you have such a beautiful, strong, yet calming and approachable presence. So I'm really excited for whatever elusive media things that you have going on. Please keep me posted because I'm pumped. I'm really excited for you.
Thank you. And I will.
You
I will.
should. You should.
I
Absolutely.
will.
Okay. All right. I've got two big questions left for you as we wrap up here. And I'm very excited about this. So, what impact do you want to make on the world, or what legacy do you want to leave?
Ooh, that's a big one.
Yeah.
I feel like one of the reasons why I'm on this planet is to help people tap into their greatest potential and to realize that potential. When you think about the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the top of the pyramid is self-actualization, and that's something that I do believe that we have access to, and so many of us are honestly living in unconsciousness.
Mm,
We are going through the motions of life. So
yeah.
my greatest impact, if I could help 5 people remember who they are and
Mm,
show up in the world more in alignment with who they were created to be, then my life will be fulfilled.
I love that. I love that. Just imagine if we all felt that way. Wouldn't the world be such a beautiful, even more
Yes.
beautiful place than it already is?
Yes.
Okay. Love that answer. Not surprised. Great, great answer. All right. My last doozy for you is what is your greatest insight or discovery about life and entrepreneurship? The two of them.
Life and entrepreneurship. Both together?
Yeah, like
Okay.
what we oftentimes find is like the two of them, there's one big discovery that like applies to both.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I learned in becoming an entrepreneur is that any stuff that you have that's unresolved will show up in your business, period. So if you have issues in your life and you think your life is separate from your business, it is not. It will reveal itself, and you will need to work through that in order for your business to thrive.
Yes. I want to give you snaps. I don't know if those can be heard. Snaps. There we go. Yes to that. Oh, Kailei Carr, you are the best. Thank you so much for joining us today. For anybody listening who is just as enamored with you as I am, what is the best way for them to get in touch with you or learn more?
Sure. They can follow me on social media. I'm at Kailei Carr everywhere. I have a lot of vowels in my name. So I'll spell it KAILEICARR. So on all the socials, except for TikTok, because I don't trust TikTok. But that's a whole nother story for another day.
Yeah.
But anywhere else, you can find me at Kailei Carr. If you're interested in connecting with the Asbury Group, you can find us at groupasbury.com. So group, GROUPASBURY.com.
Awesome. And for anybody listening, if you've enjoyed today's show, please go ahead and leave a review wherever you're listening. And don't forget to sign up for our weekly newsletter at rixnewsletter.com. Kailei Carr, you are a light and a joy. And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me, Kailei.
To continue learning how to better build your business and make your vision a reality, subscribe to the Welcome to Eloma email list at welcometoeloma.com.